Welcome to the new Global Times news station. We here today have the results of the survey I posted not too long ago about people's opinions on the major nations of this server. For clarity, when a nation is mentioned, the submissions of all members of that nation will be ignored. For instance, if American empire is discussed, any submissions from Americans will be ignored for the time being. This will ensure that the results are strictly from other players from other nations. So, let's begin. Firstly, let's list the top 3 nations that received the highest 5 of 5 rankings. This means that those who are going to be mentioned will have the highest 5 of 5 rankings, meaning the highest ranking out of possible from the 5. The nation that attained the highest 5 of 5 ranking was Sidera Novum, with 72.7% of survey participants giving the nation a 5 of 5. Second highest nation to do so was Greater Alkebulan, with 54.55% of its ranking being 5s. And the third highest nation to gain 5s was the New Empire, gaining 46.2% 5s in its results. Next, let's discuss what people had to say about one another's nations. In relation to American Empire, people generally mentioned how they were fair in trade. Additionally, some mentioned that the recent conflict between American Empire and the nation of Kievo-Keltia affected their responses. Next nation to talk about is a Turk. As one may have expected, many said that they didn't often interact with this nation's populace. Similar to American Empire, a Turk's previous gripe with Kievo-Keltia influenced some people's submissions. Moving to Greater Alkebulan, many took admiration at the nation's population's friendliness to foreigners. Once more, some stated that they hadn't had as much interaction with the nation to be completely certain on their responses. North Sea Entente was remarked for its niceness, while others mentioned that its location in relation to Kievo-Keltia made relations between the two rather awkward. Unfortunately, most people who submitted a response for Rhynia said they didn't have as much interaction with its members. Thus, they didn't have a concrete response to give. When it came to Sidera Novum, many remarked of its population's friendliness and its alliance with other nations. Less interaction was slightly mentioned, though, as well. The new empire was mentioned to be cool, nice, but also more on the interventionist imperial side of geopolitics. Some perceived those things from different viewpoints, seeing them as either bad or good. What people stated of World Trade Center was that its members were great in trade and that not much interaction with them made opinions less concrete. This is kind of expected since they were basically a new nation during this survey's time. Finally, Kievo-Keltia was remarked for its general funniness and entertaining population, but also for it putting some on edge with their impressive and ambitious expansions across nearly all the continents of the world. And that is all for now. Thank you all very much for tuning in. The details of the survey will be mentioned in a later stats article, but for now, be well. This has been JP, signing out.